Bottom line is we're only 2 weeks and 2 days away from the regular season debut for the Cowboys at home against the Giants. No sign of Ezekiel Elliott. And, Chris, I do 3 days a week or thereabouts, the PFTPM podcast in the afternoon, and it is free form, no breaks. I babble about whatever I want to babble about, answer a lot of questions, and every once in a while I'll have like a brainstorm while I'm in the process of articulating my feeble thoughts. And the idea I had yesterday, it all fell together for me. I want you to chime in on whether or not you think this holds any water. But I think at the core here, the Cowboys are trying to force upon their roster the Patriot Way.
Yeah.
They don't like the fact that Bob Kraft has found a way to hold together a great team by having guys who will happily take less. And Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are trying their damnedest to convince their guys to take less, that they want that same dynamic and they can't make it happen, and it's driving them bonkers trying to make that happen with guys like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I mean, first off, everybody should be aspiring to be like the New England Patriots. I mean, come on, the proof's in the pudding. But the big thing is it's hard to do that. There's a few things where I look at where I go, ooh, this is where the Cowboys differ from the New England Patriots. First off, the Cowboys build up their stars, right? I mean, they do. They gush about him. You hear, oh, he's the straw that stirs our drink. Jerry Jones has a press conference after every game and tells everybody how great Amari Cooper is and how great Dak Prescott is. Robert Kraft's not doing that. Bill Belichick doesn't let his team or his players talk about other players and how well they're playing. He'll give them, who made you the guy that gives the State of the Union address speech if you do that. And that doesn't go on in Dallas either. And the last thing I think that is very important to what the difference is, it's hard to do it the Patriot way. The Patriot way is special because Bill Belichick finds players that he values a specific skill set or something about them, and the rest of the league doesn't quite see the value that he sees. And he's able to maybe get guys, right, that everybody else looks at and goes, oh, that's a 6th rounder, or that's a 7th rounder. And Bill goes, oh, yeah, okay. You know, maybe it is, but he can work on my football team. How many years did we see them trade down in the draft, do things like that? So I think that's the fundamental difference. But I do agree with you that I do think they're trying to kind of pull that off and maybe start to draw the line in the sand that way.
And also, the Patriots have a knack for finding guys who are more inclined to take less. It's part of that makeup. And there's a certain element of gratitude. When you're the guy who sees something in a Julian Edelman that no one else saw, when you see what Teddy Bruschi can become, when throughout the course of the last 18 years, they've been blessed by guys who are worth far more than what they're getting, but who are happy to take less. This isn't begrudgingly taking less. They have a locker room full of guys who are happy to take less, starting with quarterback Tom Brady. The Cowboys don't have that, Chris.
No.
And, you know, the point about constantly providing the overtop assessment about how great your guys are, that does set you up to have to pay them.
Right.
I mean, when they traded for Amari Cooper and they boasted about Amari Cooper, and Amari Cooper ended up being better with the Cowboys than he was with the Raiders, the end result is you're going to have to pay him more money now.
Yes.
You're setting yourself up for it. So, you know, unless and until the Cowboys want to behave like the Patriots organization behaves, they're not going to find a locker room full of guys who are willing to take less. So what they're going to have to do, they got two choices then. You either pay all your stars and you get by with what you can as backups, like the Vikings have tried to do by paying market value to a bunch of different guys and having nothing behind them, or you just make tough decisions like the Seahawks have done.
Right.
You let guys go, and then you hope that you can backfill with someone cheaper who you have the faith that you've scouted them, you've developed them, and they're ready to go. But those are your choices. It can be done if you're willing to go with very thin depth. But, you know, the Cowboys want to still try to force these guys into becoming like Patriots players, and it's just not going to work.
No, it's not. And, you know, as you mentioned, as I mentioned, they kind of embolden these guys from the get-go when they get there in Dallas. And, hey, you got to take over. You're our star. Ezekiel Elliott, you're the 4th pick in the draft, all those things, to where, yeah, they build them up that way. Also, I think the Patriots and what they do, you know, to your point about like the Julian Edelman and guys that take less, they're great at not only the physical evaluation, but the psychological evaluation, the tests they give out, the due diligence their scouting staff does in their little area to really dig in to find what makes this guy right. I mean, is this guy a weight room guy? Is he a yes, sir, coach? I'll do whatever you say, coach. Is he willing to just do whatever it takes for the team? New England's scouting department does things like that where it separates them from the rest of the league as well to find those type of guys, those little diamonds in the rough per se. So that all plays into it, Mike, along with your points. You're exactly right. And there's a style of play that's different. You know, New England looks to be on defense. They play a 3-4 scheme to it a little bit, which means like they basically hold guys up and read and react. And that's why guys like Trey Flowers don't get 15 and 16 sacks a year when they're in New England. It's a little bit more of a read and react system, where Dallas, they play attack, attack. So then they go after some super freaks at times to just go, hey, we need this guy to attack and take over. And because of that, those guys demand more money too, because their stats look a lot more sexy and their highlights look a lot more sexy, and that demands more money too.
And I really do think that the inability of the Cowboys to talk these guys into happily taking less is causing them to just not know how to get out of this maze. And I think it's one of the reasons why Stephen Jones, the COO of the team, said earlier this week that the agents aren't really thinking about the long-term interest. No, because the agents want to get the guys paid as much as they can, but the guys want to get paid too. Dak Prescott said earlier this year when he was asked about taking less like Tom Brady, nobody's wife makes as much money as Tom Brady's wife does. When Tom Brady isn't the breadwinner in the home, then that's a great problem to have. The message was clear. He's not doing a hometown discount. He's not doing a team-friendly deal. Chris, when you brought that up to him while the two of you were sitting on a mattress at Super Bowl 53, he gave you the side eye.
He did. He was like,
he's not going for that. You don't strike me as a selfish guy. You'll do a team-friendly deal. He was like, watch it there, Mr. Top Button.
He was. He was like, I'll knock you out, and I want my money, definitely. But you're exactly right from that standpoint. And watching the game last night, right? Troy Aikman, I'm watching the Jags-Dolphins game. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck around there. They got into some of that Dallas Cowboys stuff towards the end of the fourth quarter. And Troy Aikman even said, who we know Troy loves the Cowboys and the Jones family. He said if he was Zeke Elliott's agent, he would be advising him to do the very exact same thing he's doing right now. And I think that says a lot. They're in a tough spot, and I really still think this is a team that is a Super Bowl caliber football team, but they've built the team around their O-line and their run game. And the runner they have is special. And man, they're going to blow a chance to maybe set themselves up for a Super Bowl if they don't get Ezekiel Elliott in there now. And just if they just one up Todd Gurley a little bit, I wonder if Zeke Elliott would be like, okay, that's good. I wonder if he would take that. But right now it sounds like it's between Le'Veon Bell and between Todd Gurley's contract. And he's going, wait, I've outperformed those two guys the last 3 years, and I haven't been hurt. I didn't sit out a year. I've led the league in rushing 2 out of the last 3 years, and I'm the guy that's beaten the crap out of my body with 25 to 30 carries a game, and another 70-something receptions in the pass game. So he has every right to do what he's doing. Hold strong, Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, strange dilemma for the Cowboys. On one hand, they've got the cannon loaded if they can get everyone on the same page for a Super Bowl run in 2019. But I feel like they're starting to get a little greedy, and they're thinking they can turn the clock back to 1992 through 1995 and keep these guys together and have a team that can maybe win 2 or 3, not just 1.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.